Okay, so welcome here, everybody, for our Zoom training with Failla. We have here our questor, the legend of MLM, the person who wrote the book, 45-second presentation that can change your life. This Zoom training will be about hour. We will talk about 4 marketing niches in network marketing. Don will explain you exactly what does it mean, and then you will have a question and answers session, maybe a few minutes at the end of that presentation. And we can also, of course, talk about different topics, whatever you want. So welcome here, Don. I'm very happy that you found time for us, and the stage is yours. And welcome everybody who are watching our channel on YouTube. We have here a lot of similar presentations and Zoom meeting recordings we've done. So please just check it out, check the playlists, and maybe you'll find some other interesting recordings. So let's start, Don.
Okay, I'm really excited about what's going on. I've been in the industry, as you know, most of you, over 50 years, been with the same company 25, and we've come up with some things in the last few months that we finally come across, and they're so exciting. And I'm going to go over these today with you because right now, in the history of network marketing, there's never, ever been a better time to start building a business, okay? I want to be going over what's called niches. And these are different groups of people that you can go after to talk to. And you're going to be able to do an initial presentation, which I'm going to teach you here, that'll be less than 1 minute. And that 1 minute presentation, after you're through with that, they're now ready and wanting to get into your business. Now, I'm going to start off with one, and I'm going to use America with this. But let me tell you, what I'm going to tell you here is would apply to virtually all the countries now. And it has to do with inflation. Now, in America, which, like I said, it's probably the same in all the countries, you may have, if you ever get American news, you know that there are no more retirements in America. A few months back on our news, they were talking about people working until they're 92. There's no more retirements. They're selling what they call their 401ks, which is their retirement programs, at losses, and their investments in stocks and stuff at losses to buy food and groceries. Then over the last few months, it has evolved to where they're talking about 80% of the people now in America are living from paycheck to paycheck. And then it evolved to how they're talking about they're using their credit cards now to buy groceries and gas, which if you have any idea how expensive the interest is on those. And now they're even at the point where they're telling that a lot of people are only eating 2 meals a day because they can't afford 3. Now, I have a person that I work with in my downline who's making like almost $250,000 a month. And she always taught in the beginning, and I totally agree with her, 100%, that the first thing you do when you're talking to a prospect is you find out what they want. Folks, we don't need to do that. That's wasting your time. Why do I need to find out what a person wants if I'm talking to someone within 5-6 years of retiring? I already know what they want. They want to be able to retire. And, so what do they need to do? They can't get another job. If they did, they'd never see their family. And, they still wouldn't make enough money to have any kind of a retirement. So they need to get into a business. Now, here's the thing I want to teach you that we just kind of evolved to, because this is so powerful. There's 3 ways of building a business in network marketing. You've got the product approach, which you'll never build a big business using that, ever. And you've got the business approach, which is a little better than that. And then you've got what we teach with the Own Your Life and the Lifestyle approach, okay? So bottom line, People need to make more money. Well, see, they can't get into a business, folks. So you have to understand what most people think of a business, okay? We're a business, but we're not what we call a traditional business. We're network marketing, and they're different. And see, they don't know that. They give you an example. A traditional business, it's all about overhead. You've got to buy a store, build a store, rent a store. You have employees, you got payroll. You got to buy your inventory. They can't afford to do that. And replace the inventory, and you got long hours, okay? Where see, network marketing, the only overhead we have is what you have to buy for yourself to get your check each month. That's it. I have a woman a few levels deep that signed up a few months ago. She had a traditional business. She had 66 employees, and she had government contracts and so forth. And when she heard what I'm going to tell you next, she couldn't even sleep that night. She heard me say that last year my volume was over $150 million. And I've never, ever had a secretary. Okay. I'm going to go over 200 million this year, and I've never had a secretary. She couldn't believe it. Now, my partner, Jeff Rimaldi, who is doing the upgrading in the new edition of my book and so forth, he did a little research on this, and he found out that companies that do over 150 million in volume, okay, they have over 500 employees. I have no employees. Like I said, I never even had a secretary. That 150 million, all those people got their products directly from the company, shipped them for me. All those people that were getting paid checks and stuff, the company paid it for me. You know, the only thing I have to do, I hope you're sitting down when I tell you, is learn a 1-minute presentation. That's it. About owning your life. Because if you can do that, and if you can't do it, you can write it down on a piece of paper. Own your life, having time, money, and health. And when people really understand what that means and what it can do for your family. We have another, training that you can ask Adriana to send it to you, where I do a whole training on what Own Your Life has meant for me and my family, so forth. Okay, so now, let's say that you are talking to someone who's with, say, 4, 5, 6 years of retiring. Now, remember, you already know what they want. They want to retire. Now, don't ask them if they would like to have an extra $2,000 to $5,000 a month when they retire. And the reason you don't do that is because people want you to think that they are doing okay. It's called a third party, okay? All you got to do is say to this person, you wouldn't happen to know anybody that would like to have an extra $2,000 to $5,000 a month coming to them when they retire. And the person is going to say, yeah, me, I would. Okay. Now, what I'm going to teach you now wouldn't have worked 10 years ago, because 10 years ago, older people weren't on the internet and they didn't have Facebook. Okay. But now they do. So now you just say to a person, when they say, yeah, me, then I would say to them, how would you like to see a presentation that won't take more than 1 minute? And I could show you how you could have $2,000 to $5,000 a month coming when you retire. And they're going to say, show me. I've never had anybody say, don't show me. I mean, so here's how the presentation goes. And like I say, this has been recorded. You can listen to it 2 or 3 times if you need to, or write it down. Okay. All you do is say to the person, how long would it take you to find 10 of your peers that would like to have an extra $2,000 to $5,000 a month coming to them when they retire? And they're going to say to you, about as long as it'll take me to get on my Facebook. So what if they got those 10 people in a week or a month or 2 months? It wouldn't matter, because we're out 4 to 5 years from his retirement or her retirement. Okay, so now, all marketing companies are different, their marketing plans. But what I'm going to tell you now will pretty much work for everyone. You sponsor 10 people who are actively building a business, okay? 10 people, that's it. And then when those 10 people get their 10, that's 100. I'll guarantee you, with every marketing plan in the industry, they're making enough money to buy all the food they can eat and all the gas they can buy. Now, when those 100 get their 10, that's 1,000. Okay. Now, they can pay all their bills, their car payment, their mortgage payments, their rent, all their bills. Now, when the 1,000 get their 10, that's 10,000. Folks, I'll guarantee you, they could go on a vacation every month for the rest of their life. Okay. So, hey, are they interested? You bet they're interested. Now, here is where you need to tell them about, I'm going to get you started in a business, but it's not a traditional business, because the business I'm going to talk to you about, anybody can afford to get started in it. Anybody. Okay, costs almost like zero money, doesn't cost much at all. So that's it, folks. And you get them to understand the difference between the two, and you take them to your company and you get them started. Now, let me just kind of cover something else that's kind of important. Difference between sales and network marketing. Okay, when you're recruiting people to sell, you're like a sales manager. Those people are working for you. When you're sponsoring and teaching people to duplicate, you are working for them. Okay, now, these people who are recruiting people to sell, their whole life, they're always looking for that next person to recruit, because people don't stick around more than a month or so, because it was on the news in America that only 4.7% of the people in America want anything to do with selling. Okay, and I'll just take a little side trip here so you understand why there's such a negativity out there in the world about network marketing. It has to do with Amway. A lot of you have already been in Amway. I was in Amway for 6 years when I started, and I know the history of the company. The company started off by, note this, recruiting 500 people to sell their products. Do you realize that their entire company was built from 5 of those 500? Well, what happened to the other 95? Okay. They're out there telling people that network marketing doesn't work. Now, they became almost an $8 billion company recruiting people to sell. Well, how is that possible? Very simple. They were the first company to go into all the countries. So if people wanted to make any money, they got into Amway. That was it. And then 95% of the people that got in went by the wayside. Now, the reason I know that they're going down, like virtually all the companies are going down. You've heard this before, because they're not teaching their people to duplicate. Well, about a year ago, I heard that Amway laid off 900 people in their factories and making their products. So there you go. So that's why when you run into people that have been in Amway and so forth, tell them that, that's not the way we do network marketing and so forth, and kind of open the door for you. Okay, so now back to the niches. I think you got it down with older people. Okay, now let's go to younger people. Okay, do you realize that in the world, there are over 140 million distributors? Okay, how many of those over the years tried or did recruit their 18 to 25-year-olds to sell their health products when they had no interest in the health products and they didn't have any interest in selling? How did that work? It didn't, okay? Well, see, we do a flip-flop on this. Watch this 1-minute presentation. You're talking to someone that's between 18 and 25 or so, and you say to them, just again, a third party, you don't ask them if they're interested in having a new car in 2 to 3 months. Remember, we cut to the chase to what people want. What these people want, most of them, even more than a girl, is a car or a truck. Okay, so all you have to do is say to them, folks, again, you can write this down, learn it. How long would it take you, how would you like to have a brand new car or truck in 2 to 3 months? What are they going to say? You bet I would. So, well, what if I could show you a presentation, take less than 1 minute, and you could be driving a brand new car in 2 to 3 months? They'll say, show it to me. Well, this age group is easy because they're already on Facebook. So all you say to them, how long would it take you to find 10 people who would like to have a new car, truck? And they're going to say, about as long as it takes me to get on my Facebook. Now, folks, understand again, going back to all the network marketing companies, they get 10 active people, and incidentally, when you have 10 active people, you can go the rest of your life, never look for another person, because you got 100 people to meet, then 1,000 people to meet, then 10,000. Okay. That's great. When people hear that, that's amazing. So bottom line, say to the person, how long would it take you to find how long would it take you to find 10 of your friends that would like to have a new car or truck in 2 to 3 months? And they'll say, well, show me. Well, okay, now note this. They get their 10, and by the time their 10 get 10, that's 100. So even before they get to the 100, they can buy a car or truck. They're not going to pay cash. I mean, it'll be payments, but, and it's not going to be a luxury. But see, when those 100 get 10, that's 1,000. Now they buy a luxury car or truck. And you're going to love this. When those 1,000 get 10, that's 10,000. Now they are making more money than both their parents put together. Okay. Can you imagine how many of those parents are going to want to get into network marketing? You notice the total flip from back in the old days when the people in network marketing tried to get the kids in and they batted zero. All these kids that come in that become successful, get a new car or truck, their parents are going to want to know what's going on, and they're going to want to do it. So that's a second niche. Now, another one, I ask people if they go to church. Okay, now it's amazing, how many do and how many don't. Okay, well, we're teaching people how to use Google and Zoom. Okay, like in America, if you ask Google how many churches are in America, there's 370,000. Okay, then you ask Google how many churches in America are going broke. Folks, 70% are going broke. Why aren't the other 30% going broke? Because they're Catholic. The Pope's got more money than knows what to do with. So why are these 70% going broke? Folks, if people can't tithe, you know what that means? If they can't eat 3 meals a day, they can't afford to tithe, give out money out of their pocket to church each week. Okay? So picture now again, asking your parent, a pastor, a third-party approach. Don't ask him if he's having problems with his church, okay? Ask him if he knows any pastors that are having a problem with their church, because you could help them. And they'll say, well, yeah, I am. Say, well, what if I could show you how you would have no problem with your church, and it's so simple to do. And I could explain it to you in 1 minute. So here again, your 1 minute presentation. Folks, they sponsor, every church has 10, 12 key people, and they all need money too, okay? They go to get 10, 12 each from their congregation, and then they go out to the general public and get 10, 12. You just saved the church. Okay, now what I'm going to teach you right now is absolutely mind-boggling, because people have heard me say thousands of times that you cannot build a business in network marketing recruiting people to sell, because it just does not work. Salespeople do not make it in the business because people don't want to sell. Folks, we have an exception to that now. Because see, you already heard me say there's 370,000 churches. Okay? Well, a person may be able to talk to his own pastor with a third party and tell him what I just taught you. But they can't go out and talk to those people cold turkey that they don't know in those 370,000 other churches. But folks, you could teach a salesperson less than 5 minutes how to do a presentation to a pastor so they could save their church. Do you realize that if all they did was go out and save 5 churches, they'd be retired in 6 months? Absolutely retired. So now there's another one here that I'm kind of having fun with. And this is happening all over the world. In America right now, there's a shortage of pilots, okay? 11,000 shortage of pilots. You might see on the news all the problems they have with delays and cancellations, stuff like that. Well, do you have any idea how many people would like to be a pilot? Now, my grandson, Joel, he's a pilot, okay? He got his license when he was like, let's see, what he was, how old was he? Let's see. Well, he was 17, excuse me, that's right. He was 17 when he got his license. Now, just so you know what it takes to become a pilot, you got to get an instructor to teach you how to fly. And that costs like $100 an hour. So you need 5 hours. After 5 hours, and you can go fly all you want on your own, but you need to rent an airplane. So even when you have the instructor, you're paying him $100, you're renting the plane for $200 an hour. Now, right now, a lot of you don't know this, but you can be a commercial pilot now without getting a college degree. Okay. So the key for flying is you need hours. So once a person has 600 hours, they can get a job as a commercial pilot. Okay, 600 hours. But see, multiply $200 an hour times 600. What do you have there? $120,000. Okay. Now, Joel, like when he was still in high school, he just graduated from high school. Before school and after school, he'd go out and fly every day. He was doing 5 hours a day. Okay. He's already got over 600 hours. And he did that just when he turned 18. And he can already get a commercial job. He's already been offered 3 jobs, and he could be making, by the time he's 19, $150,000 a year as a commercial pilot. Okay. Now, how did he do that? Folks, it goes back to our owning our life. Okay. Because we could afford to buy him his own airplane. Now, it's an older plane. The guy wanted to sell his plane. He only had 70 hours on it, which was nothing. And he had a friend who knew Joel, and the guy introduced Joel to the guy. He didn't even put the plane on the market. He bought the plane for $120,000, and Joel got it from him for $77,000. And because of that, he doesn't pay $200 a day to go out and fly. Okay. He pays between $40 and $50 for fuel. That's it. And see, what's happening is that all these people that do have these little planes and stuff, groups like 10, 12, 20 of them on weekends will go to different airports and have breakfast, lunch, or whatever, and so forth. Joel has been in every airport within 100 miles of here. In fact, one of the things that you have to do, become a private, get your license, besides taking all-day tests, which is oral and written, and then one of the things you have to do is go out and fly at night and land in 6 different airports by yourself. Well, you got all that stuff taken care of. It would have never happened if we didn't own our life. Okay. So again, I asked Joel, I said, Joel, how many people do you have in your Facebook? He said 1,500. Now, these are all pilots that he's met or wannabe pilots. And most of them have been like maybe 5 to 10 years working on getting their pilot's license, and they've only flown 15 to 20 hours. They can't afford it. So here again, you cut to the chase. You know what they want. They want to be a pilot. Why can't they be a pilot? Because they don't have enough money. Okay. So anyway, Joel, he just turned 18. So we're going to get him signed up here very shortly. And he'll start building a business. And his niche is go out and talk to people. Who do you know that would like to be a pilot? Okay, what if I could show you how they could have enough money to be able to do that in 2 to 3 years? Because I'm going to show them how they can get their own airplane. Okay, folks, these are niches, and they're working, and we're having a lot of fun with it. So anyway, as time expands, I'm sure we'll come up with other niches. Anyway, just get the recording of this. Listen to it several times and say, gee, which one of these fits what I want to do? Now, you have the one is you could say to a person, how many people do you know would like to live an extra 5 years? Okay. And then you could do this one. Don Failla, who wrote the book, most successful book in world of network marketing, when people look at him, They get to the age between 62, somewhere around 54 to 62. Well, folks, I was 84 last December. Okay. I don't look my age, and I'm not aging. And so I tell people why I'm not aging. Okay. Three reasons. I take great health products. I exercise every day. And the biggest reason is that I own my life. Because see, when you own your life, you have time, money, and health. See, what you don't have, you don't have stress. And folks, if you don't believe that stress will age you, look at all the American presidents after 6 months in office. And what about the stress of 80% of the people? In fact, when we first started doing seminars, my wife, she passed away, 2.5 years ago, but she had a section in her training presentation where she talked about how we used to have a pile of bills called the better luck next month pile. Okay, folks, that's stress. We don't have that anymore. We own 3 properties, no mortgages, everything's paid for, and we're I'm having fun. Okay, so that's another niche. But you'll come across other niches, different groups that people would like to achieve in, but they can't because they don't have the money to afford to get the training it takes to be in that group. So anyway, I can't believe that only took 30 minutes. Adriana, you want to take the picture and then we'll start a Q&A?
Yeah, Don, could you please explain a little bit for the new ones? What does it mean exactly, the 3 steps of your system?
Okay, why don't to keep this separate, why don't we start a new recording?
No, I will divide it, don't worry.
Okay, oh, you can do it. Okay, got it. The question again is, say the question again.
What are the 3 steps of your Own Your Life system? Exactly, what does it mean?
Okay, very simple. The first step, we talk to someone about owning their life. That's 1 minute. How would you like to own your life? Have time, money, and health, and so forth. Okay. Well, if they say, gee, I'd love to own my life. And you could be doing this long distance, folks. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can, as long as your company, any country in the world, I'll show you how to do that in a minute because we have time. But you can sponsor people and build a business. So all you got to do is say to them, see, that first presentation, telling them what it is, took less than 1 minute. Anybody can learn to do that. So there's 3 steps in the system. The second step, you say to the person, if you really want to own your life and have time, money, and health, you need to understand network marketing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send to you the first 5 chapters by print or audio of the best-selling book in the world on network marketing. In fact, the new upgraded edition will be out at the end of this month, along with the app. I'm going to send that to you. So all you got to remember to say to them is, how do you want me to send it to you? By print or audio, or both? Folks, that's step 2, okay? That took about 2 to 3 minutes, max. Now, once they've read the book, now I want you to notice it's their time, not my time. It's their time to listen to it and read it. And why is audio so important? Well, first of all, we have solved the biggest objection in the history of network marketing. Biggest objection people have had over the history of the industry to get people off their back, and they will tell you they don't have time. Folks, that's not an objection anymore because 1 minute, you can't count that. And it's their time to read or listen to the book. They can take, for example, their mobile device with them, on their boring commute. And if you go to any town in the world during commuter time, 90% of the vehicles have one person in them that hate their job, hate their commute, and they can listen to it and change their whole life by listening to those 5 chapters of the book. They read the first 5 chapters, they're going to want to get going building a business. So that's pretty simple. Now, once they've done that, they're ready for step 3. Step 3 is my partner, Jeff Romaldi, links his phone to the computer, and shares with you exactly how you would send the book out to anywhere in the world. Okay, folks, the learning curve. You do it 2-3 times, now you can do it in 20 seconds. Okay, pretty amazing. So let me go back to before we had the system, app, and technology, which will be all out by the end of this month. Okay, hopefully we don't have to wait any longer than that. Okay, before we have this, people would buy my books. That's why, I sold 11 million copies. They wouldn't buy just one book, they'd buy 5, 10 books, so forth. But what would happen there is that they pay anywhere from 12 to 14, paying the book retail. Now they got the books in quantity, you got a better price, but let's for the most part say they were paying anywhere from $10 to $14 for one book. Folks, that's not the cost of the book. Because unless you live next door to the post office, you've got to send it to somebody. Okay, so now where I live in California, we're getting up close to $7 a gallon for gas. Okay, so whatever it costs you for gas to go to the post office and home, you've got to add that to the cost. Plus your time has some value. You get to the post office, you stand in line, then you buy the stamps, and then you're going to wait 5 days for them to get it. Well, if you want them to get it overnight, boy, then it's going to cost you a lot more money. You have to add that to the cost of the book. Now, here's what happens. Call them in 5 days and say, have you received the book? And they say they did. Have you read it yet? They say they did. They didn't, folks. They lied to you. And that's what we call cooling off, because from the time that you talk to them to the time they got it, those 5 days, they've already lost interest. See, that can't happen anymore. Because see, when you're talking to someone on your mobile device, right while you're talking to them, okay, you can actually send that to them. So when you hang up the phone, they have it right then, okay? So how cool is that to be able to do that? What I want to do now is show you very simple, because a lot of you are in companies that are in other countries around the world. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the example with Poland, because we've been doing this with Poland here. But what I'm going to teach you will work with any country, okay? Let's say, well, here's what happened. You go to Google and you ask Google how many people live in a country. Yeah, I'll do a quick demonstration here for you, and you'll see this here. Okay. How many Polish people live in America?
According to Wikipedia, there are an estimated 8.81 million self-identified Polish Americans, representing about 2.67% of the U.S. population, according to the 2021 American Community Survey conducted by the U.S. Census Bureau.
And then you go back down and you say, let me do this. Where do the Polish people live in America?
According to Library of Congress, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Milwaukee, Detroit, New York, and Cleveland became anchor cities of the new Polish communities, and Polish was spoken in the mines.
Okay, so let's say, for example, and this has already happened, we had a woman, just happened to be that she was a tax preparer, did taxes and so forth. So she knew about business and write-offs and so forth. You realize that she signed up in her company, and by the time she even bought a product, she already saved thousands of dollars because she was already planning a trip to Poland. Okay. Now, when she got to Poland, she's going to talk to her family and friends there about our business. Okay. See, it wouldn't matter if they signed up in the business. The mere fact that she's there talking to them about it, she was there on business. She wrote the whole trip off, her airfare, plane, the whole thing. See, people can travel all over the world, doing this. Now, for example, if I personally was doing this, I would then go back to Google and ask Google for the Polish publication in Chicago. or just pick one of the cities. Don't try to do the whole thing all at once. You don't need to. Pick one city, okay? And I would run an ethnic ad in there, and basically somewhere. And Adriana is good. She could help you, writing ads and stuff. But something along the line: how would you like to own your life, have time, money, and health, and visit your relatives in Poland, and have it as a tax write-off? Okay, very simple. And see, now here's the secret, folks. This people will never figure this out when I'm telling you. I would have them run the ad in English, even though it's a Polish publication. Now, people say, well, that's stupid. Why would you do that? Well, I'll give you two reasons. I think you all know what font means. That's what lettering looks like for different languages. And they're different for all the languages. So can you imagine when a person opens a classified section of the paper, all the ads are in Polish, and here my ad's in English? Everybody's going to see the ad, okay? So now what happens is that I'm going to get to talk to people who are bilingual, because I don't speak Polish, okay? So I get a bilingual person, and let's say I got 10, 20, 50 people that responded to the ad. Now, I want you to make note here that these are not leads. Leads do not work. People spend $50, $100, $150 a month buying leads. They do not work. A non-sales type that calls a lead, that hangs up on them, they're done. But see, these are not leads. These are what we call prospects, okay? And they're responding to the ad because they're interested in knowing how they're going to be able to go to Poland and have a tax write-off doing it, okay? So when I get that first person that signs up, knows our system and understands everything and so forth, I let them have the rest of the prospects I had from that ad, okay? Now what do? I go to another city and get one person in that city. And then I go to another city, okay? Hey, if I get tired of Poland, I go to another country. Can you imagine if your company was operating in Japan, how many Japanese people live in America? Millions. And you ask them where they live, and then you run your ad in English in a Japanese publication or a Chinese publication. I think German, for example, there's like 43 or 50 million Germans in America. They have German towns all over the place. They have little Italys all over the place. So pick the country you want to go and just go to work with Google. Paraplegic could sit behind his computer doing what I just taught you and build a worldwide business, no problem. And you have a lot of fun doing it. Questions?
Thank you, Don. There is maybe, I guess, the most important question for everybody. How am I supposed to find people, or even one friend, if I have burned all my contacts because I have done sales before that they didn't want to do anymore and avoided me?
Well, basically, we do teach that it all starts with one, okay? You get one person, then you start meeting their friends and so forth. And what will happen for the people that you know, as you become successful, they're going to notice that. They're going to notice you going on vacation every month. They're going to notice you buying a new car, new house, whatever. In fact, for women, they'll even notice if you buy a new purse. I mean, you walk around with a cheap purse and then all of a sudden you got a $500, $600, $700 purse. They notice that. So now they start getting interested. But I think once you really get it in your own head that we have nothing to do with selling and that anybody can do the business. That's why, see, what I've been doing lately, because Adriana has been so good at putting these recordings on YouTube, is I had a guy, he managed a Kia dealership. I've known him for 15 years because we have a lot of Kias. He used to be in Amway years and years ago. And I've talked to him off and on about network marketing and so forth. Finally, what really did the trick for him was last month. I told him to listen to the YouTube the training I do on YouTube. It's like 25 to 27 minutes. Now, there's a whole bunch of them there, but they're all the same up to the 25 minutes. So once you've listened to that 2 or 3 times, go back and listen to the Q&As, because the Q&As are always different, okay? Well, sure enough, he listened to the thing commuting to his work, and then the following morning, I woke up and looked at my internet, and I saw they signed up and placed a $241 order. And was I excited? You know, and again, that goes back to duplication, because when you're duplicating, as you're starting to go deep, when people sponsor someone while you're sleeping, you get excited. I wake up in the morning, not counting weekends, I have over 500 new people have signed up while I'm sleeping. And then, you know, last month I had 2 days where I had 700. Didn't start with 500 or 700. It started with 1. And that keeps growing. You get more excited. But just, you know, try to focus on just one person that wants a better life. Listen to the training that the thing I did. Adrian can get you what it's done for my family and stuff. You know, and I tell people that have kids, for example, you know, the number one word to raise a kid, if you want to do it right, is time. You spend time with your children, you will never have any problems, period. Like in America right now, it's true all over the world. You know, you got both parents working, kids come home from school, empty house, they get together with their friends, they start experimenting with drugs. Lo and behold, some of the drugs have fentanyl in them, and we're losing about 100,000 young people a year in America from fentanyl. None of that happens if you have time, and you'll have time if you own your life. That's why that's so important. But you know, I don't know if she needs to belong to another club or do something where she can meet new people or whatever. But third party, remember the third party. Just when you talk to people, ask them if they know anybody that'd like to retire. You know anybody that has a young person in the family like to have a new car or a truck? You know, use the third party.
Okay, so next question, maybe also very important. How long can it take to build such a structure in a lifestyle approach that will bring the expected results so that you can finally be free and have time, health, and money that mean a life of your own?
Okay, I think a lot of you already heard that company I started with over 25 years ago. I sponsored 4 distributors, and from the 4, it grew to 1,400,000. And you know, I just heard that we're averaging 500 people a day now signing up. Well, with our new app, the new upgraded edition of my book, and technology, you're going to be able to do in 2 to 5 years what took me 25, 26 years to do. Because the tools do all the talking for you. So that way, people, when they listen to that Zoom training, you know, on their commute, and that 25-minute training, they totally understand. It has nothing to do with selling, that anybody can do it. They got plenty of people to talk to once they realize that they don't have to sell. You know, so that's the basic thing there. And anyway, you know, once you get it rolling, you can't stop it. And now, I said that you could do in 2 to 5 years what took me 25, 26 years to do. I don't know how much you guys know about artificial intelligence now, but my partner, Jeff Romaldi, signed up for artificial intelligence. It costs $20 a month. And what he's done now is going to blow your mind, because see, as soon as the book comes out and the app's out in English by the end of this month, we want to get the book, the app out in Polish, German, Italian, Romanian, and French. And then beyond that, we've got about 25 languages we want to do this and get the book out in. Now, understand, to do that, we got to pay someone $3,000 to translate the book, because the new edition of the book's like 18 chapters, okay? And when you read that book, like you already got your PhD in network marketing. So multiply 3,000 times 25. And then for each one, it takes about 3 weeks for them to do the job. Then we got to pay someone to proofread it. Then we got to pay someone else to read the book and record it so we could have audio of the book. This all takes time and it takes money. Folks, do you understand? With artificial intelligence, Jeff took the first chapter that was already been upgraded. He's virtually done upgrading it now. And he cut and pasted that and sent it to artificial intelligence with little instruction for them to go through it, correct any mistakes, whatever. You know how long it took artificial intelligence to do that for them? And they found some mistakes and some improvements. It took them 10 seconds. And the book, it was already printed out, okay? So then he goes back to artificial intelligence and he cut and pasted it and said, can you translate this into Japanese? Folks, 10 seconds, he had the book in Japanese all printed out. He sent me a copy of it. Folks, we can end up doing 25 books, different languages, and have all that done like within a month. Okay, so now instead of taking 2 to 5 years to be able to do what I did in 26, you're going to be able to do in 1 to 2 years. Okay, so we're excited about this.
Okay, Don, thank you. And there is a question from Sadar and Lupita from Mexico. The question is, talking with a friend, she tells me that in Latin America, they are very used to selling because of their mentality and culture. And in the United States, it is easier to create consumer network. What do you think? Do you think that this has nothing to do with it and that it can be built as you teach us anywhere in the world?
Okay, yeah, no, it's a good question. And, you know, just so you understand, like Jeff has told me, I don't know how many times that I'm the most observant person he's ever met. Well, over the years, you know, I've been in the industry for over 50 years. I was really on my company to get Mexico open for years, wanted to get them open. I thought it was going to be huge, okay? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? They've been open now for about, 10 years, whatever. If I were now, knowing what I know, make a list of all the companies in the world, from the best to the worst, the countries, Mexico would be on the bottom, okay? And it's on the bottom because, like you already said, their whole culture is about selling. I mean, Nancy and I, you know, before she passed away, we went on 92 cruises. We've been in every port in Mexico, and you walk downtown in any of these ports, 6-year-olds are on the street corner selling chiclets. If you go to the pavilion of Mexico in the World's Fair in New York, the whole thing is about selling, their whole culture is selling. So what happens is if you sponsor someone in Mexico, okay, within 3 months, if they're not making a lot of money, I mean a lot of money, they're already off into the next program. They don't stick around. So the people that we are getting that are in Mexico, I already showed you how you expand to other countries. Well, in America, we've got 40 million illegals in America, and we're the only network marketing company in America that can sponsor an illegal. Okay, so I'm not going to take too long to explain why and how that all came about, but that's the case. But you know, go where the people are that you can talk to. It doesn't, see, with Zoom and technology and stuff, what's the difference? I got people right now from, you know, all around the world on this call, you know, and I'm just sitting in my office in my home. It doesn't matter. You know, back in the old days, they taught people to start with your neighborhood. You know, I don't tell people, I say, start with where you know your people. It doesn't matter where they're at. You just get going. But yeah, Mexico's going to be used. I got some people that were signed up a long time ago, that now that we've come up with some of this new things that we're teaching now, we're getting real excited. So we're going to get Mexico really going, but it's going to start in America first.
Okay, next question. Thank you, Sadr. Next question from Rosa. Do I need to use hashtags? And if them, what words I have to put to target the right people and from the right countries?
Can you paraphrase that question? I don't know if I understood the question.
I think that Rosa is asking something specific, how to handle marketing via Facebook using hashtags to the post, yes? And we are exactly not teaching how to marketing, a network marketing via Facebook. We are talking about and we are teaching about on your life system and lifestyle approach, and we are not experts of marketing in Facebook. Yes, am I right?
Yeah. People that try to market their products on Facebook, they'll never build a business, ever.
Mm.
Not going to work. Just don't waste your time. It doesn't work.
Yeah, the basis is getting to know new friends. Yes.
Anybody, just just let them know, and right now with so many recordings on YouTube that they can listen to, again, like once they've listened to my 25-minute presentation a few times, they can fast forward to when we go to Q&As, and that's different every time. So they can keep learning from just doing that. Now, all the stuff that's on the YouTube, that's all going to be part of the app too. It'll be on the app.
Okay, thank you very much, Rosa. Anybody else have something to add, to ask question? Please write it down in your on the chat box, or just unmute yourself. You can also ask directly Dawn by voice.
Have you taken a picture yet? You want to do that while
Oh,
you're?
no, maybe we can take a picture right now. I will turn to gallery, so you can unblock your cams and switch on, and I make a
Smile.
yeah, wait moment, because I have to switch off also subtitles. Okay, so everybody are ready? Smile, thumbs up, and where is my thumb? Okay. Thank you. So
I just saw in the chat a question that came through, which is really a good one, because Kenny was having.
Kenny, yes. How to get people from social media? They send me friend request always, pitching me, claiming they making money.
That's a real simple one. Once you hear what I'm going to tell you, as you get older, you're going to discover, like I have, that there's so many stupid people in this world. Okay. Well, a lot of people, they think that getting started in a brand new startup company is where you should be. Big mistake. Okay. 90% of the new companies that start up, they don't even last 2 years, because they all make the same mistake. They're all pretty much started by salespeople that think they're going to get rich. And the mistake they all make is they recruit a salesperson when they start. Okay. So bottom line is that if you got somebody that start up at a new company and they're trying to, we call it doing a flip on you to go with their company, I tell the person, you need to understand something. The 3 toughest times to note the word recruit someone into your company would be if that person is in Amway, they're making a lot of money, or they just got started in a program. Now, to make it easy to understand, we tell them the analogy that goes with that, trying to recruit someone when they're in one of those 3 states would be like trying to have an affair with someone while they're on their honeymoon. Okay? Doesn't work. You gotta wait till the honeymoon's over, folks. Get to know the person, keep in touch with the person, and all of a sudden, their companies back ordering products. They're late on paying their checks. I mean, all the companies in the industry are going down now anyway, because they all get to the point where they're losing people faster than they can add them. When they lose people, they don't just leave one at a time, they leave whole groups. And the only thing that's going to save them is what we're teaching now, which, like, we already have some companies that are ready to use our app as a product. Okay, they need to teach their people how to duplicate, and if they'll do that, they have a chance to survive. But yeah, these people are wasting their time. I mean, can you imagine someone trying to recruit me into their program? I tell them I'm making, I've got to do 150 million a year in volume. Why would I look at your deal? Why don't you look at mine? I'll do a reverse flip.
Then, is it possible to do network marketing without the app?
Yeah, if you want to take 25 years to do it. So you have to understand the tools are doing all the talking, like 99% of the talking, all the talking. So give you another example. Let's say that you've listened to my Zoom training on YouTube, which people totally understand it has nothing to do with selling. And you've listened to it 3-4 times, and you think you can do that presentation as good as me. You could probably do it better than me. Okay, folks, don't ever do it. Okay, because see, when you do the presentation, just like my guy with the Kia dealership, okay, I didn't do the presentation for him. See, anytime you do a presentation for somebody, they think that they've got to learn what you're doing. Now I give them the tool. I say, go to YouTube and listen to this while you're commuting. And he did. Okay. Same thing, or teach the people how to use the tools. And that way you can be working with a lot more people and just got a lot of time, and it's too easy. I mean, how long does it take you to teach someone a 1-minute presentation? And that starts the ball rolling.
Okay, next question. Hello, everybody. It's from Timothy from YouTube. Just a suggestion thought. Speaking of getting the right people on Facebook, I think it's best to join groups that are related to finance and lifestyle, because people there are. So this is a little suggestion from Timothy. Yes, it's very good. They are. So this is continuing the.
Adriana, you're more familiar with it than I am, but with the company that's making the app for us, Mighty Pro, we're going to have groups that you can set up with that app.
That there is continuity of this question, because people there are interested in a better lifestyle after joining the group. It's best to engage, share your thoughts, react and comment on other people's posts or comments. By doing this, you will begin to make something different, or something, I don't know what, because it's not finishing. But it's a good idea, yes, I guess, Timothy. Okay, next question. Will a new app be transferred in Russian and Polish language?
As soon as we get it out in English, we'll start working on all the different languages. So
how long it will take? How do you think?
Well, with artificial intelligence, within 2 months, we could probably have it in 25 different languages.
So the new book will be also available via the app firstly, or it will be also in hard copy?
Well, it'll be both. We're going to have hard copy. In fact, that's a good question, because we are going to have a store on the app. So you'll be able to buy the hats. You'll be able to get hard copies of the book. You'll be able to get pins, the Own Your Life pin. In fact, Adriana, she's very creative, and she even, from the pin, made a set of earrings. Do you have your earrings there, Adriana? Your pin earrings? And Well, you're gonna have T-shirts, Own Your Life T-shirts. Just whatever you can think of that people are gonna want to have, they'll be able to just get it from the app. And we'll have quantity breaks and stuff on all this too for people that want to buy it. See, a lot of people don't like to have hard copies because they like to go through and, use a magic marker and check things off and so forth.
All right. So, do you have any other maybe challenges in doing network marketing? Please share, everybody here. What do you think? What is the most issuing matter in your business right now? Do you have any thoughts? Maybe some kind of, I don't know, thinking over and over, don't have solution. Maybe you can ask Don for any suggestions. Please ask.
Hey, John, I got one that I've just recently been using lately and been having a lot of fun with it.
Mhm.
And that is when you're talking to someone, you let them know that, if you don't make money while you're sleeping, you're going to work until you die. Think about that. That's network marketing. I did 150 million last year. 90% of that or more is coming from Europe. It's all happening while I'm sleeping.
All right, so if you don't have any questions, we can finish for today. And I would like to thank you very much, Don, for your time, for your great knowledge and experience here. And thank you all you guys for joining here today, and see you next time. Whatever will happen, I hope that the app will be already available in July, and we will meet together via the app in our app community. Yes,
Adrian, since the app should be out, by the end of this month, so by the time we do our next presentation, why don't we just leave it for the whole thing for questions and answers?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you once again, and see you next time. Bye.
Okay. Have a good weekend coming up. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye, chicos.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
guys.